Hey guys, welcome back to my business corner spotlight on success. I'm going to make this a quick little intro video. This is going to be episode 3 where I'm interviewing Coach Jess and Coach David at Good Vibes Jiu-Jitsu Studio and Fitness. I pretty much just let them introduce themselves in this episode. If you don't know what my spotlight is, I will go ahead and drop the link to my Spotlight on Success explanation video. I'm also going to drop their social media accounts down below, so don't forget to check those out. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey guys, I'm here at Good Vibes Jiu-Jitsu Studio with Coach Jess and Coach David. And today we are going to talk about their business and a little bit about their story. And then they're going to show me some cool stuff at the end. So, to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Coach Jess to my students, but I'm Jess. I'm the co-founder of Good Vibes Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness. I run our kids classes as well as our women's classes, our women's only, and our the self-defense course.
And I'm Coach David. I primarily run our adults class.
Tell me about you guys. Tell me a little bit about you guys and like your love for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
Because I did have questions. Okay. Because you started when you were what, like 19? 17?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew you were a teenager. I heard you talking about it and I was like, okay, that's a while. Like,
yeah, it's been crazy. Actually, the very first time I had been introduced to martial arts at all, there was a karate instructor who did these like bow staffs that came to the school that I was at. I went to like a art school like where you live there, kind of like a boarding school, but it was a public school, so you had to audition to be there, but it was state funded. Yeah. But it was really cool though. They had this like in the gym area, they had this instructor that would come in, and I thought it would be fun because I was trying to get in shape and I was doing yoga at the time and all these other things. I was going to the gym a lot, and I just thought that picking up a martial art would be good because I was like 3 hours away from my parents, so I was like, if I'm at Walmart and something crazy happens, I want to be you're Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart, but you know
like
what I mean.
Self-defense.
Like for self-defense, like if someone were to attack me, I want to have something. And so I started with that, but then another instructor had come to that same school and done a self-defense seminar specifically, talking about, and it was using self-defense using jiu-jitsu. Okay. So that's how I found out about jiu-jitsu. That wasn't a great situation at that gym. Just the culture wasn't great and the people were not great. But the next gym that the next 2 gyms I went to were actually pretty good. I traveled to one in that summer after I kind of first started jiu-jitsu, and then I found our home gym, which is where we met, Pursuit, which was actually right down the road from where I was going, and the college I was at too. So I trained there for a long time. That was kind of where I trained the most time, other than here. And in college, that's when we met and decided to move up here.
She was in college.
I was going to ask, did you guys come together to
Yes.
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you? What got you started with jiu-jitsu?
So I was working in the federal prison system. Kind of felt the need to have a martial art that that I could use if I ever needed it. You know what I mean? It was a really violent situation. Times. So I started training jiu-jitsu initially, kind of for self-defense, but fell in love with the art and with the sport. Kind of loved it so much that made a career out of it.
When you first started, did you ever consider that you guys would be having your own studio and
No, definitely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Definitely not.
Come a long way.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, like I said, I was working in the federal prison system, so that was kind of how I saw my future, I guess, advancing in that. But it definitely wears you down, working in that environment all the time. And you get to a point where you're just like, man, I can't do this. So I needed a change, needed to kind of switch things up a little bit. And, I studied jiu-jitsu constantly, so, this is kind of a natural progression.
Yeah, so it came naturally.
Yeah,
That's nice.
For sure.
That's amazing. For me, it was more, my whole goal was to do music for a long time. So I mentioned I went to an art school, but I was there for singing, so I was doing music and recording songs.
And I've heard your music, so I know I love it.
In college, I was still, that's when I recorded like an album and stuff, and I love music to this day. I still, practice it personally. And I saw how jiu-jitsu changes lives, and I've always been really involved with kids, and I love teaching. The kids have a way of bringing so much joy to your work when you work with kids, because I feel like there's nothing more rewarding than seeing a kid progress and grow and understanding that was from something that you taught them, and seeing kids achieve a personal win. There's nothing that comes close to that. I mean, it's really awesome to see how you can be involved in someone else's journey, and that's really the main thing that made me stay solid in wanting to do this as a career, because I was helping, when we met, I was helping with the kids classes at our with our professor at Pursuit, and I loved that class, and that's where I kind of fell in love with it. And when we decided to move and open up this, I just naturally fell right into, okay, we're gonna do the kids class, and it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be awesome, and I had visions of that from the time we started this.
Awesome. That's amazing. I do like that you are very much child development oriented. You're very considerate with that part, which I know like a lot of people when they're in like coaching industries or they're doing sports, it's considered, but it's not like so easy driven. And you can tell that you're passionate about that. So I was like super happy.
Thank you.
Put my kid in her class.
That is the main part that I am. Even before I started helping with the kids class, for a long time, like all of my favorite classes in college and in high school were the development, like child development classes that talk about the development of the brain and how our brains work. Not just for kids, but for adults as well. I'm very, very interested in that topic. I read books and podcasts and all of that on that subject all the time, because I just find it so interesting that there's always something new to learn about it, and there's always new research coming out. And when you do a job like mine, you want, these are other people's kids, back where I'm from, discipline looks very different than what I've grown to develop now. Where I come from, I'm from the South, from Mississippi, and people just grab a switch and beat their kids. So you can't do that with other people's kids, right? And there's studies and stuff that show reasons why you might not want to do it with your own kids, but that's a whole other conversation. But what I will say is, in the classroom, when you have to rely on group cohesion, and you have to rely on everyone working together, you're gonna see a lot of like wrenches in the system if you have to stop and yell at kids. And I think that one thing that really helps is focusing on the positives that you see and really reinforcing when the kids are doing something positive rather than just addressing the negative. Sometimes you do have to address the negative. That does happen, like especially when you're teaching kids. You're trying to help kids learn how to wrestle safely, essentially. And that can escalate quickly with anybody, let alone kids who are still learning how to deal with the emotions of anger and sadness, or if they feel left out in a game. You have to deal with all of those things.
Do you ever have like reflections of the kid classes into the adult classes because of that?
Yes, of course. Yes, it's funny because adults sometimes have tiffs too. That's not always, I'll let you speak on that.
Well, you definitely have to manage the culture, both in the kids class and the adults class. The difference is in the kids class, they have to be kind of managed constantly throughout the class. Parents, I think many parents put their kids in a program like ours with a certain expectation that there might be some behaviors or some things that are going on that they want to adjust or correct. It really does. Like, jiu-jitsu has a way of shaping you, like, from a personal standpoint, like personal development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see kids that come in with behavior issues that in no time they're being a good training partner, and they're slapping and bumping with their training partners, and they're showing kids movements. They're not just trying to win rounds. Like, you really see them come together as a team. So, and you see that with the grown-ups too.
Managing the class, as far as managing the classes between adults and kids, The adults, obviously they're adults, so they've been in classroom settings before. They know what it's like to stop and listen. Even our older kids class, that's a bit easier. The little ones, we focus a lot on, okay, they're just learning how to stand at attention. They're learning how to look at as a group, look at someone while you're speaking.
Yes.
So some of those goals are going to be a little bit different in that class, amongst all of our classes, but specifically with the kids' classes. Everyone's kind of, the goal of the class is different and the objectives are going to be a little bit different. The little kids' class, it's a lot more like fun focused. Like we want them to make sure that they're engaging in play while they're learning. The older kids, it's important that we engage them in play too, but they can handle a lot more technique. So they can handle a lot more like corrections on the specific movements. Whereas the little ones, you're not going to get very far in class if you're trying to make sure their foot's in the perfect position for the kick, or if you're trying to make sure their takedown is perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the older kids class, there's varying. So some of the kids, okay, you just focus on these three points. If they hit those 3 points, it's great. And then some kids in that class can handle, okay, this detail, that detail, tweak this so that this is the reaction. And that's what's pretty cool.
You would say it's kind of like steps you gotta go through to get to the top when it comes to that. Okay, yeah.
It's more about understanding where everyone is developmentally and how to teach according to where they are currently at. And that's probably, it's not only been what I love the most about the job, but it's also like, I think that's what truly ends up helping people, is if you just kind of bring everyone in and you teach everyone the same thing and you treat everyone like they're at the same starting place, it's really hard to get the whole team to the finish line. Instead, you have to really meet each individual person where they're at, and like understanding where they're at developmentally too with the kids class is really important.
I agree. I think that like a lot of people, even in adulthood, in their regular everyday to day lives, like implementing that would help them beneficially. So like to have a program or like have a sport like that helps in guidelines to that is nice. So for children and adults, there's different characteristics that jiu-jitsu could help build, and personal traits. Like, what are some things that you would say are examples of those that you see people develop through jiu-jitsu?
That's a really good question.
First thing that comes to mind in terms of like someone who's like really been with our program for a while and develop on a personal standpoint would be Ruben. So, you know, he came in, you know, kind of a cocky 14-year-old kid, you know, and he's been training with us 2 years now, and he's about to start doing some MMA fights pretty soon. And you know, he wants to be in the UFC, and like I believe him, I genuinely think he can do that. But to see, like, we would go to competitions, for example, and he'd be like calling it a chubby and like kind of talking smack and stuff like that, and be a little bit cocky. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, like, you know, you can't do that, man. Like, this is like one like big community. You might see those guys next week at a gym an hour away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you know, you talk to him today, and he's still a little cocky, and he kind of talks smack, which
is what you need for
MMA.
MMA.
If you want to be a fighter, you kind of need that. Like, you need that.
Yeah.
You know, you need that energy. So like, good on him. But to talk to him today, man, he's just so much more mature. You know, and I genuinely think that it's because of not the wins that he's had in here. Like, he goes to competition, he crushes, he kicks butt. Like, new people come in and show him stuff. You know, he consistently wins rounds, even against adults. So I don't think it's necessarily the wins, but I think it's the losses that have humbled him probably more than the wins. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, man. So to see him like develop that's the true power of jiu-jitsu. You know, and there's a lot of martial arts you can maybe get that from, but I think jiu-jitsu is kind of uniquely accessible to everybody. You're not getting punched in the face and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you can do it. You know, anybody can do it. You can do it in your 40s, 50s. We even got Dennis. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
Awesome. Cool.
I would piggyback off of that and say, humility is definitely something you're going to develop in here, because I think it's so funny because I think everyone comes in, and this was including both of us, the first time you step on the mat, not only is it intimidating, but it's very humbling, because everybody comes in thinking they know something about how to defend themselves, and everybody comes in thinking they know something about how to prevent another grown person from harming you. But the first time you come into a jiu-jitsu class, and those first few rounds, you're just getting tapped, you're getting submitted, they're doing arm bars and they're choking you. It quite literally shows you that if someone else comes at you with that skill, there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah.
Of course, size and strength matter. Of course, I'm 5 foot. If a 6'8" person wanted to hurt me, it might be much harder. But if I can get them to the ground and get behind them and get a choke in, everybody has arteries that go to their brain that stop if you stop them.
Yeah.
So I think that's just to piggyback off of the talking about developing humility. Another thing that I think it develops in kids, adults, everyone is leadership. He was talking about how everyone, after some time, they switch from this mindset of winning, just wanting to win every round, wanting to be the one to get the tap from someone, and switch it to teaching others how to do these cool moves and how to get to this point and how to get from this place to this place. When you've got somebody who has blocks, they know how to block it. It's really cool to see kids especially come in and seeing them be able to guide the new kids that come into class. Just seeing them develop that leadership skill is honestly one of the best skills I think you can get from jiu-jitsu. Because what's cool about it is that it's both an individual sport, because like when you go to compete, it's just you stepping out on the mat, right? Mm-hmm. You slap and bump and it's win or lose, it's just you. But in the training room, it's very much a team sport. And I think it really helps you develop that leadership skill, because if you're not willing to help build up the room around you, then how are you supposed to grow? Yeah. And so I think the sport itself really helps with developing leadership as well.
And I've genuinely seen, and maybe this is because if you stick around long enough, you'll kind of have to maybe take that on board, or a lot of people still make it, they end up leaving. Those that stick with the program, you'll see even guys in their early 20s or even older, some guys that used to train at whatever MMA school back in the day, come in and they're very rough. It's very kind of an individual sport mindset, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And those that stick with the program, you really do have to kind of adopt a team mindset to training, because if you're coming in training 2 or 3 times a week, training with the same people, one, nobody's going to want to train with you, but 2, if you train that way, you're just not going to get better.
Yeah.
So we try to keep our rounds very playful. We try to play a lot of I guess they call it logical jiu-jitsu, but it's basically just jiu-jitsu games that kind of teach you jiu-jitsu and kind of gamify it a little bit. But if you come in and you're all about winning rounds, or you come in and you're all about whatever goals you have in the gym, you're probably not going to last in jiu-jitsu. One, you're not going to, like I said, you're not going to progress, but 2, nobody's going to want to train with you.
Yeah. And we're all about preventing injuries with that. To piggyback off of that again, you're definitely right. Most of the people who come and train with us, they have to go to work tomorrow. Nobody's trying to get their knee, popped or strain a muscle, or nobody's trying to go home with that. I think everybody, jiu-jitsu kind of forces you eventually to adopt the mindset of taking care of one another, because at the end of the day, if you look around and all your training partners are injured, you don't have anybody to train with yourself too. So even the people who do come in with a bit more of an individual mentality, the way the sport functions, you can still hold on to that individuality. You can develop your own game, you can develop your own style. You can develop your own signature moves, and of course, at the end of the day, it's always you performing the sport. On the other side of that, you do have to foster healthy training relationships with the people around you and take care of your training partners, because that's how everybody grows.
Yeah, teamwork and unitedness, and I definitely believe people are circuits. We gotta have connections with other people, and when we're secluded, it stops us from growing. It stops us from being able to have that character development and that hold yourself accountable and stuff like that. So, yeah.
For sure, but just kind of like talk about like connections. For sure, one of the best parts of my day is just hanging out on the mats with the guys after class. Just everybody talking. So, you know, like that connection, like you're so right. Like everybody needs that, and I've been looking a lot at the idea of like a third space. You know, like everybody kind of needing a third space, and like the psychological kind of need and benefit of that. So, anyway.
It's been really cool to find.
That's good because like the sport, you know, you're releasing endorphins.
Yes.
It's a healthy release,
Yes.
and then I feel like a lot of people nowadays, you think of forever ago when we were living off survival.
Yeah.
A lot of times there was like those hunting groups,
Yes.
and men and you know even women when they're foraging, they're going as groups and they're doing things and they're communicating and they're having endorphins. And nowadays like everybody is so secluded. We're all individuals, so
And we're not
again,
moving, you know,
we're not
moving
moving our bodies enough. So to have environments where you can go and move your body, make connections with people. Y'all might not be the same, but you guys have like similar passions, similar things that you can sit and enjoy. And again, like being human, like in those moments are when you're being the most human.
Yeah, man,
to
for
me.
sure.
So yeah.
I'm definitely here for the free hugs.
What would you say to people who would like to join jiu-jitsu? Like advice, or I know you were mentioning some things like if you're like this or this, that jiu-jitsu might not work for you, and so on and so forth.
Well, I would say just come in and try it. You know, so a lot of people, what people generally say is, you know, I'm out of shape, or I need to lose some weight, or whatever.
I need to get in shape before I come in.
Yeah. Like definitely not required. You know, come in and try it. Like you know, you're so right. Like you don't have to, like we're not in here talking about politics. We're not in here, you know, talking about, you know, anybody can come. Any person, any gender, any race, any political affiliation, it doesn't matter. So, and anytime any of that stuff is kind of creeped in, we're like, hey, no, like this is not the place for it. So
We enjoy those conversations, but we try to keep them off of the mats. We try, if someone wants to have that conversation, we try to do it like not during class times, you know, because I think
like you guys can have personal lives too. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes the connection, like you build connections with people in here that go beyond just class, you know.
And
so
there are things like politically that you do, you know, because of the connections you build with people and the relationships you have with people. Something politically might not affect you, but it does affect them, and like that's real. You know what I mean? Like that's a real thing. That, you know, I think about and concerned about.
all of that aside, I wish that more people didn't let those things and the nerves of something new get in the way of trying something new. And that's easy to say, you know, because I've always been a little bit more of a social person, but for me, social interactions are taxing. Like, I charge my battery by being alone, but I love connecting with people, and I love chatting with people, and so I've always been a bit more outgoing when I'm in the mood. And then I just think that more people should get out of their own head of thinking that you have to do this, this, and this before you can do it. Like he was saying, you don't have to get in shape to come try it. You don't have to start eating right to come try it. You don't have to get in some cardio before you come try it. I think all of that is the ego getting in the way of just trying something new. I think most people would be very shocked to find that when you come in here, I think a lot of people are expecting like a bunch of meatheads, juicing and crazy health nuts who are
smelling like a gym in here.
Yeah, or thinking that like they have to perform and be good at it. And I wish that more people would know that if that's the mindset you have, you'll never take the first step towards anything. You have to take away the barriers and just understand that if that's something you want to develop, you can develop it in here. You can increase your cardio in here. You can lose weight in here. You can get in shape in here. If those are the things that you're saying are in the way to starting, they're not. That's a mental block.
Yeah. And you guys could also add to that as support. Like, I think that's what a lot of people lack too, is they don't have the support, and like, again, their mindset gets in the way.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, like, I don't belong in this kind of area because I'm not fit, or you know, that's where they're implementing that. But when you can create an environment where it's comfortable and like welcoming, then it's easier for people to come into your space.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which,
that's a really good point. That's actually part of our mission too. Is I know my experience specifically as a woman trainer, there's not a lot of women in jiu-jitsu, and I understand why. After going to a lot of other gyms, I can totally understand why. I mean, you've got everything from like creepy instructors and creepy people who run it, and creepy training partners, and then you've got coaches who uphold that environment, you know. You've got spaces that kind of prioritize a certain type of person, like maybe a certain type of competitor, like somebody that they know will win the gym gold or something like that. And I think that one of our biggest missions when we decided to open was to make sure that we didn't have a space that someone was like, for instance, I've gone to a few open mats where you just walk out feeling defeated because everyone the whole time, they see that I have a blue belt or a purple belt on, you know. I'm thinking about a time when I was a blue belt, but blue belt or purple belt, and then they're like, oh, they are white belt or they're a belt lower, and they feel like they have to like tap you a bunch or hurt you or prove something. And I've sustained a few injuries from that specifically in this sport. And I just think that the people who not only do that behavior, but even the coaches who maybe even unknowingly support that behavior and kind of make excuses for it, sometimes knowingly, sometimes encourage it.
I've definitely seen some gym cultures that were very, very toxic. And, you know, like, it's no wonder it's just, you know, they're getting hurt all the time, and it's just a bunch of knuckle dragging guys and they're slamming each other around. Like, fine, if that's what you want to do, do that. You know, but I'm interested in sharing jiu-jitsu with as many people as I can, and that's not the way to do that. You know, you have to have an environment where people feel safe and people feel welcome.
Yeah, definitely. I never want anyone to leave, you know, our gym feeling the way that I've left feeling sometimes, like feeling defeated, feeling like I want to quit the sport, feeling like what's it even worth it if people are so much bigger than me and they can just tap me anyway, what's it worth it? Learning the moves, you know, and I never want anyone to feel that way walking out of here. I want people to walk out of here feeling empowered and like what they're learning here is useful and is something that is worth investing their time in. Because I don't want anyone to leave here feeling defeated or like they don't belong. And I don't ever want anyone.
So come with good sportsmanship, guys.
Definitely.
You'll definitely leave with good sports.
Yeah, you'll. Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good. If you don't know it, they're gonna teach you. So, how did you guys come up with Good Vibes? Like, what brought out
the name specifically? Or? I will say he came up with the name. But as far as like, I think it was really a joint effort in like the vision and what we wanted. It was a lot of conversations. This was like a giant move. This was ruckus in our personal lives, and ruckus.
I feel like I remember you talking to me back when you were looking for a place.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, we actually.
It's been so long.
Yeah, when we first moved here, we were actually living with his mom. Shout out to Chris. Thank you, Chris. We were living out there for a while because we had literally put everything into this gym. I mean, we used all of our savings and everything, not only to move, but to find it. And so when we first moved, we were like, okay, well, we're moved. We got the U-Haul unpacked. Things are still in boxes maybe, but let's go and scout for where the gym's gonna be. And so we drove to a few nearby towns. We started in Litchfield, and then we looked around there, but it was just a little too small, and we wanted something with more foot traffic. So we decided to come here, and we'd heard good stuff about Coldwater. And
I do have some family in Coldwater.
Yeah, family in Coldwater too, yeah. But we'd heard good stuff about specifically the downtown scene, and we decided to look around. We started over by like where Big Lots used to be, so we looked it up, but we were like, man, that's just, when we had looked at those sizes, we were like, man, I just don't know if this is gonna be feasible, because if we looked at one smaller, like a tiny studio place, and they wanted like thousands for the first month's rent, and we were like, I don't know if we can sustain this in this space. And so we felt a little bit defeated when we were looking around, and then we decided to come to this side of town, into the downtown area, into the more like historic buildings, and we looked around and took some pictures, and then we had gotten some ideas of like where we would like to go, and I actually still have the picture on my phone of taking a picture of this when it was empty with just plywood floors. That's literally all that was in here, but I have the picture still on my phone. And then we, after feeling a little bit more defeated from looking around, and we had not found many numbers because like we didn't know who like to contact to like get into a space, so we got in touch with a realtor who was lovely. Even once she realized we weren't buying, she still helped us, knowing that even though she wasn't going to make any money off of it, she still helped us get connected to the building manager and the building owner here.
Good Vibes.
Oh, well, I was talking about.
It's okay. I can still do it. However.
But anyways, that was the vision. The vision came together.
We're like coming about it, yeah.
Yeah, that was part of it. Was definitely getting into. I feel like it really came to life when we got into this space after. But I just wanted to acknowledge all the wonderful people that helped us even find this, because it wouldn't be possible without them too. You know, like we've kind of come up with the logo and the vibe and of course like we put everything into it, but there's been so many people who were a big part of like helping us find this space, and Good Vibes wouldn't be possible without all of the people who have helped us get here. So
and this is a beautiful space. Like it's a nice spot in town, and like
we're spoiled.
It's nice, yeah. I remember when you first started, and you had set up this space, and you had, I think you had mats, but you didn't have the wall.
We didn't have the
mats
wall
yet.
mats.
And then
we had less wall mats too, so it was like
yes, and I think less like some of the stuff on the walls was a bit different, but to see you grow too, like, and it makes me so happy. Thank you. It makes me so happy.
But yeah, that's really that's how Good Vibes came together, because it didn't just like, it wasn't like we just said, okay, this is what it's gonna be. It was more like it was really shaped by the experiences and getting into the space, and you know, our experiences with what we want, what the vision was for what we wanted it to be, and then you kind of make all the little decisions from there that make the one big whole that is.
And you guys are still like working on it. So.
Oh, of course, it's always growing and changing.
Yeah, man.
When you were curating this place, like, what were your guys' non-negotiables? Like, what were your guys' we're gonna stick to these things, or like?
I wanted a cute lobby. I said non-negotiable. It needs to feel welcoming. It needs to feel family friendly. That was a big one for me. I really wanted families to come in here and feel their kids are safe to train, because we're training some pretty crazy moves. If you ask the average person, I mean, we've got kids doing chokes on each other, you know what I mean? And I don't want someone to walk in to this like dungeon feel and not feel safe. You know, I want people to know that safety is our #1 priority, and how can I show that with the visual aspect of like when people walk in, how can we immediately convey that this is what we're about?
An open space.
So for me, I poured everything into like, okay, what's the couch? The couch is gonna feel cozy, and how can we make the room feel cozy? And we ask people to take their shoes off, especially in the winter. So it's like, how can we make people feel comfortable to like kick their shoes off? Even the parents, like while you're watching your kid do a sport, or like we have Wi-Fi and stuff. But you know, I want everyone to feel like the space is for them. Not just the people.
I love the no shoes. Because I take shoes off in my house, and I always feel so weird like going into places, and it's like, and I bet that saves a lot on your guys' carpet cleaning.
It does help.
For sure.
It does help.
Did you have any non-negotiables?
So for me it was mostly like cultural stuff within the gym. So within the jiu-jitsu community, I think this is within most martial arts, there's a lot of kind of tradition involved where, like, an example, at a lot of gyms you'll have to like turn away and like tie your belt. You have to face the wall and tie your belt to fix your gi or something like that. Or you'll have to like bow to a picture of your sensei on the wall before you come on the mats. Or you just have to call somebody sensei, you know. To me, all that stuff's a little culty, you know. So I don't like it. So for me, you know, I wanted a place where I could just kind of hang out and do jiu-jitsu and, you know, it just be good vibes and, you know, without all the dressing on top. This stuff doesn't make sense.
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, to each their own, and different people find value in tradition, and I think that's totally okay. But for some, and especially for us, sometimes certain traditions can start to feel stifling, and it feels like you have to do this in order to be good at something or to progress. Yeah, it can be. And I think it's just natural for every place to kind of create their own traditions and create. So you take what's important. You pay respect to everyone who came before you and every like where this knowledge and where everything came from. But while also finding a way to make it your own, make traditions that make sense for you and your mission and your vision for the space you want to create.
I think at best traditions like that are distracting, and at worst they're downright hazy. You see like belt gauntlets, for instance, where they'll have people walk. When you get a belt promotion, you'll walk through a line of people that are all like with you with your belt. It's like, no, we're not. You know, we're not doing that. You know, so you know, Jess is being nice. She says everybody has their own opinions, but like, I just can't really see supporting, you know, just silly traditions that don't really do anything except, you know, make some people feel superior and then ostracize other people.
And it probably takes away from
I don't think that it adds to group cohesion. I don't think that it builds a community. I don't think that it does anything except, you know, set up this kind of pyramid situation where you've got the sensei on top and like he's kind of distributing information. It's just like, no, that's not. That's not how people learn best, and that's certainly not how people connect best. You know.
Sounds like it takes away from the sport itself rather than, you know, I mean, some people, their sports are like more cultural and like they got all the extra stuff, but it's different for us to curate that and also make it a homey space, because like not only are you guys teaching adults but it's children too, and different habits and stuff that they grow along with, like you don't know how they're going to take it outside of here, so it's good that you're considerate of that too. Excuse me. Were there any occasions like through your guys' journey that, I don't want to say you doubted yourselves, but that you were stressed and
many times, yes.
But when we were stressed and what?
Stressed and unsure about the outcome.
Many times, for sure.
I feel like this year is the first time that I felt like really solid. Like I have a clear vision, and that's based on like there was always a clear vision, but like I'm seeing the results of the years that we've put in, and I think this is the first year where we've seen consistency with that. And I think every time before, anytime there was a win, and maybe you can speak to this too, every time there was a win, I would always wait on the next dip. I would wait on the next class that had nobody show up, you know? And it's only been in 2025 that I feel very confident that there won't be any more classes where no one shows up. But that's my spiel, but.
No, for sure. Definitely. You know, when I first started, I had people telling me, family members telling me that, you know, it was a bad idea. That, I'm making some kind of mistake by taking everything I have and investing in a jiu-jitsu gym. And, you know, some of them maybe didn't come like right out and say it, but, you know, it's definitely there, you know. I believe in jiu-jitsu, like I believe in us. I believe in the gym. But there have definitely been times where, you know, there's only like 2 or 3 people on the mats, or sometimes like no one shows up for class, and it's like, man, that's tough.
There's definitely, when you speak about stress, like, yeah, the whole first year, like, we were both working extra jobs to try and make it happen. Sometimes both of us working night jobs, like, till like 2, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning. You know, we both picked up odd jobs here and there and worked, like, extra jobs just to make this happen.
To be at a point where we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty
Has
awesome.
been insane. Yeah.
And, you know, it just makes me feel very grateful because, you know, it's not guaranteed that people are going to come in and, you'll be interested in the program, like want to learn what we have to teach. It's not guaranteed, so I feel, I'll use the word blessed. Like we've put in the hard work, but you know, it's our members showing up, and without them, I'd just be out here shrimping on the mats by myself. You know?
Definitely.
So.
In the moments where, and I'd like to speak on that too, is that those are it's the people that make you feel sure of what's happening. You know, like I said, like, the only reason why I feel more sure and less stressed now is because we haven't had an empty class in months and months. So I feel like it's because people show up and just validate that it's something that they want to learn. I think that's what helps aid with those feelings and has helped, you know, me a ton. There's definitely still times where I'm like, oh no, what about the market and the economy, and what if this makes this happen? And I'm definitely a worry wart when it comes to that kind of stuff. But it is the people that validate that we're on the right track and we're doing the right things. And yeah, that really helps in the moments where we feel unsure or stressed about what's happening. It's, you know, clinging to the people around you.
I just wait until 6, you know, until 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Until the students show up, and I wait till 6 o'clock, and it's like, okay, this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's one thing to show up for yourself, but to have people show
Show
up for you.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And to work towards that and to build, what would you call your jiu-jitsu army?
I mean, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely like a little community for sure.
Okay, yeah, the
where-
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like we've had people develop friendships on the mats, develop, you know, relationships on the mats. So, yeah, man, it's definitely a community. You know?
In the moments where we feel unsure, stressed, kind of looking at the community that, you know, we've built together and that everyone's choosing to participate in. I will say a big moment was last year. We do every time we're celebrating like Good Vibes birthday, it's in June. We kind of do something big for the gym and we get together, like try to get everyone, as many people who come and train with us as possible. And last year we did like a big cookout. Shout out to the Mosque, they're great. They hosted it for us and got like a cool slip and slide, and it was really fun. We had a piñata and there was food and music and it was really awesome to kind of see everybody at once. I think it was like 40 something people, almost 50 people. And so that was like our kids classes, that was our adults. We had people show up who haven't trained with us in a long time, show up that day just to celebrate with us. And so definitely that's been.
So how old will it be this year?
3.
Yeah.
We're planning on doing something really fun for the celebration this year, so I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have to find a big place, hopefully to invite. If we're gonna invite everyone again, we'll have to do. Excited for you.
You're just getting older, so.
Yeah.
We're about to have to put a hold on the kids' class.
I know, it's almost full. The older kids.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, I mean, I'm asking you guys questions anyways. Have you guys, like, do you guys think that you will be in this space for a long time?
Oh,
If you choose to expand, like, are you thinking about getting another place to have both, or like just go to a bigger gym?
Good question.
Probably haven't even considered it.
No, I
We
definitely
have.
for
We have.
sure. It's been, you know, on my mind for a couple months now. So like, yeah, we're definitely growing to the point where our mats are getting full. I love this location. I love the building. I love the building owner and the property manager, and like they're awesome. So I definitely do not want to go anywhere. So we're gonna try and maximize this space for as long as we can.
Okay.
So I think we can do that for.
I think we've got more time,
Yeah.
We've got more time. I think we can, there's different ways we can structure classes and to accommodate for the growth. And I think that there's options. And then, you know, in the meantime, you know, we're you know, gonna think about obviously you have to think about backup plans, but we don't really have one. It's just to keep growing here, and when we get to the point where we have to cut off classes, well, we'll probably operate like that for a little while with a wait list, and then, as we build, maybe a second location, maybe more room here. I don't know. We'll see. I know there's a whole basement downstairs. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but
yeah.
Anyways,
it's hard. It's something I've thought about, but it's hard to say, man. We've got gyms in other areas that we have good relationships with, so expanding, depending on where we want to go, is a little bit tricky. And then of course the kind of relationship with the folks here. So I have some ideas, but none I necessarily want to say on camera.
Okay, that's fine. You do yourself.
But no, it's definitely something to think about, because the whole goal is to grow, right, and to expand.
Then when we need the space, we'll have it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I firmly believe that too.
I like that. I like that.
That's true.
So as for reference for everybody, for classes, what all do you guys provide? And do you guys plan on providing anything new within the next year, couple years or so? Or
That's a
just
great question.
working on the same things?
Yeah. Do you want to start with your classes?
Yeah, so mostly we're just a jiu-jitsu school. So mostly we're a jiu-jitsu school. But we also offer Thai boxing Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's a new one.
That's a pretty new class within the last 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'd like to do all kinds of martial arts training. I'd like to get some weapons training, maybe.
Eventually, yeah.
Start looking at some of that. But what I don't want to do is teach something I don't know. So I know jiu-jitsu, I know grappling. I know a lot about that. So I feel comfortable teaching that to all levels. If we're going to teach something, we'd have to, with our striking program, we've hired a coach to come in and teach. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I was shout out to Coach Mike. Shout out to Coach Mike. He's awesome. We love him so much.
Yeah.
So is that the only other coaches or other coaches that you guys have come in?
Yeah.
We have had other people come in for short term. So we had the amazing Dan Severin came in during our first year open. He was awesome. That was awesome. A dream one for us would be Zoe Naoki. I would love to have Zoe Naoki come in. I know she's so busy.
I know. I want to ask her to do an interview with her so bad.
She would be a dream one. That's what I'm saying. I would love to have her come in, even if she didn't do a seminar or anything. Just have her come in and just train. Come beat me up. But no, she would be a dream one. But we do have someone who's coming in pretty soon to do a leg lock series with our adults. His name is Denny. He's amazing. Shout out Denny. I hope they all watch this. That'd be so cool. But Denny's cool. He's gonna come in. He's gonna do he's gonna teach everybody how the leg lock system, and it's gonna be over a few weeks on the weekends, on Sundays, and it's gonna be really cool. I'm excited for that one. But as far as other classes that we offer, we have we do 2 women's self-defense courses. Those are completely free for the community. They're about 3.5 hours. We typically do something after, go out to eat, or bond afterwards, which I think is always fun. Yeah, we do a pepper spray training in that. Jiu-jitsu itself is really good for self-defense, but the Own Your Safety course is designed specifically for a self-defense situation. Mm-hmm. We teach you not only situational awareness, but how can you look around in your environment and use things in your environment to keep you safe in an emergency situation, if you don't have anything on you. Mm-hmm. We teach how to just use your hands. We teach, or not your hands, but your hands and your feet, as one-on-one combat training for self-defense purposes. So we teach a lot of kicks in that class. We teach people why punching isn't necessarily the best choice. A lot of people have this idea they're gonna punch them in the nose or punch them in the area, you know what I mean, and then get away. And I think that that can get people hurt, and we actually show videos of how that can get you hurt, even with trained fighters who have gotten themselves in compromised positions. And these are women who train punches and kicks regularly, and sometimes that's not the best case when you're going up against someone who's trying to hurt you, because it gets your arms away from you to where they can lift you and carry you or lift you and slam you. And so we show a few different educational videos that kind of explain all of those things, which is something that you wouldn't necessarily think about in our regular classes. So that's our women's self-defense course, and that's my baby. I love it so much. Another note on that too is I know the stuff in that class works because it was formulated before, but I've been in a situation where I've had to use it. I was out with some friends at like a bar, and I went to the restroom, which was kind of like up a staircase and away from like the main area, so it was kind of like a secluded area, and a drunk man came up and decided to that he was going to provoke me and wanted to hurt me. So everything was a little bit of a blur, but I ended up on the ground, and I was able to use like up kicks and the moves that we teach in the Own Your Safety to get away to safety or to hold him off. Like he wasn't able to punch me or kick me or lift me or carry me anywhere. I had scrapes and bruises and stuff from like being like on the ground and stuff like that for initial fall, but after that, by the time people came to come help, I was able to hold him off to where people could come and help. Yeah. And so I know that it works because I've had to use it. And that course specifically, I'm so passionate about, and that's one of the reasons why we offer it for free now, because I just think that any woman that can come in and learn that, you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you need to use it. I mean, I've heard of friends being provoked at Walmart, out getting groceries, and not to scare everyone. I definitely don't want to promote that women should be afraid and feel like it's their responsibility to learn these things, because it's really the responsibility of attackers and men to make safe spaces and make women feel safe in public. That should be a right, But unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in, and I want everyone that I know and love and care about to have that in their toolbox, in their arsenal. If they ever need to use it, they can. So that one's very, very important to me. That program specifically is.
How often are those classes?
Twice a year. We typically do them twice a year. We do one in March because it's National Women's Month, and then we usually do one in October for breast cancer awareness. So we host fundraisers typically for the domestic violence shelter here, 278. They're really awesome. But we try and do drives for them to help benefit them during those. So that's always really awesome. That's one of the programs we offer. That one will be coming up pretty soon in March. So be on the lookout for that. And then we've also
pepper spray him.
Yeah, you get to pepper spray him, water spray him, but it's not real pepper spray. He still wears goggles, but you do. But I mean, honestly, my first time doing that training, I thought that pepper spray, you don't really know how to, a lot of people carry it, but they don't truly know how fast, if somebody's coming at you, how fast you have to be able to deploy it. I had to do it the first few times. He was really giving me the proper training so that we could teach other people. I was very shocked to see how quickly you have to be able to pull it out and spray. Because if someone's coming at you, they get to you much quicker than you would think, even if you have it ready in your hand.
And at that point,
it's on you.
You get a hold of it. It's on you too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and you will wear somebody. If you spray it, it's gonna affect your breathing. But even if you get none on you, if you get some on you, it's gonna burn, and it's gonna definitely affect your breathing. If you spray it, any of it blows back at you, just be prepared that
you're gonna eat some
you're
of
gonna
it.
be affected by it.
But that's why we do the training,
Yeah,
and
we
that's
teach
why
you how to move, back and ankle, so make an L shape essentially.
Yeah, lots of good stuff in that course for sure. That's why it's so long. But that's one of I love that program. That's my baby. I love it. My other baby is gonna be the kids classes. The Little Ninjas, which is ages 3 to 5. That class is so fun. We spoke a little bit about it earlier, but it's a lot of games, a lot of fun, a lot of movement. Your kiddos in it, so of course. And then we've got our older kids class, which is 6 to 12. Also a fun class to teach. So those are kind of. Oh yeah, we also offer yoga on Sundays. I'm certified in yoga for BJJ. It is training in yoga specifically for jiu-jitsu athletes, but I base it on the teachings of regular basic yoga that you would find as well. So it's a lot of the same vinyasa flows, and then you got downward, you know, all your basic like downward dog. You got a lot of like extended child pose, just all of those things. But I try and tweak it because most of the people who do come to that are people who train. So I try to tweak it because there's certain muscle groups that develop in jiu-jitsu practitioners, like the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, like all of that. Whatever, that's not true. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But I try and focus on the muscle groups that I know are more likely to be sore if you're training in our classes. So that one's always a good one. We've had outside people come to that, or outside people, like non-members, come to those classes too. Those are only $10 to attend. So those are on Sundays at 10:30. So that's an extra class that we do as well.
Okay, so a little mini thing.
Yeah. And fitness. The and fitness in the title.
What? Oh, jiu-jitsu and fitness. Oh yeah, I left that part out, guys. And fitness.
Are you ready to learn some moves?
Yeah, we can do some moves now.
Let's do it. We'll just do some up kicks and maybe like a clinch.
Okay.
Does that sound good? Okay. I can show it you can show it if you want. We can do it together. David's gonna start with the clinch and then I'm gonna show you the up kicks.
Okay.
All right.
This comes from our Own Your Safety course, by the way.
So in a self-defense context, we're always wanting our hands up in front of our face. We're gonna step in, we lock our hands, we're gonna glue our ear right to our shoulder. We step behind the knee. Now we're gonna start pushing back. We look out behind us.
Ooh. Okay.
So one more time, pretty simple. We step in, we lock our hands, our elbows are nice and tight. We want to get our knee right behind her knee and push with our head. We want to push her shoulders behind her hips. Now we look at the mat where we want her to land. To a knee.
Okay.
You ready to try it?
Oh, I get to try it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, you can do it to me. We'll help.
I'm nervous.
So
Okay.
you're gonna kind of step in and you're gonna lock your hands around my waist.
Wait, how did you have
You got
yours?
it.
Because I know that you
All
had
right. Yep.
you went like
So,
this.
whatever, doesn't really, we're just trying to close the distance between us. So we step and we lock.
Okay.
We want our knee to go behind her knee here.
Okay.
It's her knee, our knee rather, that we're gonna dump her over top.
Like tabletopping her with
Yes.
one person.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. And I go down with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just going down to that
So
knee.
step.
Yep.
Lock your hands.
Now push with your head and
It's
take
like
it.
a
Yep.
hug.
Yep.
Yep.
Free hug. Woo!
In a
Wait,
self
hold on. I want to so use that on somebody taller than me.
It's really good for people. What I like about it is because if you're in a self-defense situation and somebody's coming at you like, and they got their hands up like they're trying to hit you, you don't want to be in the striking range, right? You either want to be outside of it, or if you just can't help it, somebody's coming at you, you want to be the one to control it.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can get them down to the ground, you can give them a good stomp kick and run away.
Okay.
So that's what I like about that one. So that's the clinch takedown. And then this one specifically is what saved me. I was pushed down to the ground. So first, I know how to fall safely. Had I not known how to fall safely, I could have extended my arms, I could have smacked my head and gotten seriously hurt. But because I know how to fall safely, he can push me. I know how to protect my head and protect my body from getting hurt. Once I'm here, you can grab the wrist. I'm gonna use my foot in the hip to lift my hips up, to get my hips into this kick. I'll turn this a bit back. I'm just gonna kick out past his head.
Okay.
Actually kick him in the face, but
But
I
in
lift
real
up.
life, you would kick in the face.
Yes, you would kick in the face, you kick in the throat, you can kick here, you
Okay.
can kick in the stomach, but you're gonna get your full hips into it. That's what I like about this.
Okay.
They can't kick you because they're too close. If they go to try and move their legs, what I like about this too is if I want to sweep him over, I can get a few quick kicks in. My foot is already on his hips. I just take my hands to his feet, and I can push him. And I can get him down by
Ooh.
grabbing his feet and pushing him.
Okay.
So one more time. I've just been pushed down, so let's start from that because that's important. If I get pushed down to the ground, whew. So you can go for the kicks. So let's try it.
Okay.
Okay, so first, when you want to learn how to fall safely, you're gonna take your hands in, you're gonna tuck your chin, and when you feel like you're gonna fall, you're just gonna bend your knees and get your bottom close to the mat, so that way all you're doing is you're rocking back. Yeah! And then you just hit. The reason why we do this is because it prevents you from rolling over and like hurting your neck.
Okay.
So that's why we do the
Okay.
neck smack. Ready?
All right. Hold on. Wait. I wasn't ready. I have to think about falling for real.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, then from here, if they're coming at you like they're trying to swing, you
So
catch
grab
their
your
hands.
arms.
Yep, you
Grab
push
their
into the
hands.
hip, use it to lift your bottom up. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then keep your feet your feet here.
Okay.
Let go of the hands and grab my feet. Now push.
Okay.
Awesome, you did great.
I'm definitely gonna practice.
You should totally come to the own your safety thing too, so you can see the whole.
Yeah, I might do
course.
that.
75.
You said it's in March?
Yeah, it's in March.
Okay, so we might have a video for March.
Awesome. Thank you so much for interviewing us. That was awesome. This was fun.
Again, thank you guys so much for coming and joining me for this spotlight. It means everything to me. Everybody that's supporting me, everybody that is participating in my videos, it means a tremendous amount. I am so excited to continue on with this project, and I hope to see you guys along for episode 4 that will be coming out in March. So don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on that notification button, and share this video to one of your friends. See you guys next time at my Spotlight on Success. Bye.